today's session. So, till now, what we have learned, let's do a quick recap in 5 minutes of what we have learned in the session number one, and then we'll start with audience aggregation, which is the topic for today's session. So, basically, in the last session, one of the most important concept that we learned was of engagement magnet. There's some issue with the slides, guys. Let me read through the content. Okay, for every piece of content that you're building up, okay, it could be ad copy, it could be a landing page, maybe a website or an email. For every piece of content that you're building up, there is an engagement that you want to drive on that content. Maybe on the ad you want customer to click on the link, click on the ad. On a landing page you want customer to sign up on a form. On your website, maybe you want customer to start the free trial, or maybe on your email you want customer to click on the link in the email. So for every piece of content, there is an engagement that you want customer to perform. Now, engagement magnet provides a reason for users to engage with that content. So if every business thinks through what kind of engagement magnet can they use to increase the engagement for the piece of content that they are building up, it will improve the engagement rate. Like in case of digital Vidya, the simplest example is free orientation session, webinars. All these really improves the engagement rate of the ads that we run on the landing pages that we have created with this. So for every piece of content, a business needs to think of engagement magnet, which provides a reason for users to engage and reduces friction in customer journey. So these two objectives could be fulfilled simultaneously. Now, I think again, guys, if you have any doubts or questions on the exercise, feel free to ask anytime. We could discuss at the end of the session as well, or if you have any questions or doubts right now, we can discuss that. I think most half of you haven't completed it, so as I mentioned earlier, please try to complete it within a week itself of the session so that everything is fresh in your mind while you're attempting. Now, coming to audience aggregation. So in the session number one, we understood like what inbound marketing is, why inbound marketing is becoming more and more critical for the business, because role of customer in the buying process is changing. Customer is primarily in the research mode. So basically, based on the stat, we saw up to 95% of the prospects on your website are there to research, not to buy. But as many as 70% of them will convert, will either buy from you or from your competitors over a period of time. So basically, what is happening here is you have majority of the customers who visits your website, majority of the visitors that you get on your website are there to research, not to buy. But they are really important because out of them, 70% will either buy from you or from your competitors over a period of time. So these are the customers who have a potential to buy. They will not convert off in a visit, but if you re-engage them, if you provide them with the right information, you will be able to convert them over a period of time. Now, that being said, in what ways can we do it? By using inbound marketing techniques, we will be able to not only attract the audiences but also engage them and convert of them. So there are three phases of inbound marketing. Phase one being attracting and aggregating audiences. Phase two being conversion optimization. Phase three being lifecycle emails. So these are just keywords, guys. Like in terms of when we say attracting and aggregating audiences, it's all about building reach for your business, attracting the right customers or relevant customers to your business, aggregating customers before they drop off so that you could refunnel them by providing them with the right information. This is phase one of inbound marketing. Phase two of inbound marketing is when you're not able to, let's say, when your traffic is stagnant, or you're not, there's not your business is at a stage like where traffic became stagnant. You're able to leverage every way to get more traffic. Now, how to get more conversions? You could optimize for conversion. So, in what ways can you create much more compelling customer journey on your website as part of phase two of inbound marketing? When we say lifecycle emails, we are mentioning that converting leads into sales by nurturing them over the life cycle, by providing them with the right content, is phase three of inbound marketing. So we started with phase one of inbound marketing. We understood how to attract audiences for a business. Second part of the session number one was all about that. So what we were able to do was, now what we were able to see was like what are the channels that are available. We were able to see a few examples where businesses have built up their organic reach, and then what results did they get. Uh, Now, after that, the task was on the same topic that you needed to build a strategy to attract audiences for a business. So now today's session is about the part two of phase one, which is audience aggregation. We already saw by taking example of Gadi.com in session number one, what are the upsides of audience aggregation? Like in what ways can we really use audience aggregation to stay in touch with these customers who drops off after coming to your website. So going back to the digital marketing framework, guys, like whenever you're building up your online presence, there are multiple reach building channels. We already discussed this. There are multiple reach building channels through which you could build reach for your business. Now the whole thing is just 2 to 3% customer converts into leads or converts into transacting customers or sign up for free trial. Now what happens? Rest of them they drops off. Now, why? Because they were looking for information, they were doing the research, they were comparing products, going through user reviews and all. So we want to stay in touch with these customers. So we want to aggregate these customers so that audience aggregation is nothing but creating a channel between the business and the potential customers so that you could reach out to them with the information that you think could help these potential customers in moving forward. So it's all about aggregating, like creating a channel between these potential customers and business before these visitors drops off, and then provide them with the right information and drive them towards transaction or the desired action. Now, when we want to understand audience aggregation from grounds up, like one of the offline analogy that I could give you is whenever like 200, 300 years ago, like whenever state needed to reach out to masses, or a political or a social organization had a requirement to reach out to masses, the only way was using pamphlets or doing public announcements on these important places. So these were the only ways. Now with uh, when newspaper came into being, like it solved majority of the issues. Okay. Now newspaper became the backbone of all the social and political movements at from those time 2 3 centuries ago to till now. Now, how that happened, or what was the what was the difference with newspaper? What was unique with newspaper as compared to other platforms? First thing is, in case of newspaper, it comes at a very it comes at a, like it could come with a series of content, okay, on a particular idea or ideology at a fixed frequency. It could be a daily newspaper, it could be a monthly. There used to be fortnightly newspaper, monthly newspaper, weekly newspapers as well. Now, what happens is, like when you're reading a newspaper, let's say for over a year period, like you must have gone through editorials and all, like it have a bend of seeing things of what is happening around. Now, over a period of time, when when you go through the that content, let's say daily, over a period of time, it bends your mind in certain way. So basically, it became a great tool for propaganda by state as well in certain countries. Now, this is one example which you could see on my screen is of Pravda. Pravda was the newspaper that was used by Soviet Union to promote the state policy, to get people's buy-in for the policy that state was running. So basically, it came into being, and in Indian case as well, from Punjab Kesari to National Herald, all these newspapers were the backbone of independence movement because at a particular frequency, they were like the editors were writing the relevant content that people were reading, and it was fueling the whole independence movement. So it's all about reaching out to customers with a uh, message which is themed at a fixed frequency will help more customers in understanding the ideas and absorbing the ideas, and then over a period of time it will help in building it up. So that really changed from the days like where pamphlets were used or public announcements were done when newspaper came into being. Now, a recent example of Obama's campaign in 2012. Now, what they did, like in the digital world, they like it was one of the most digital savvy campaigns ever till now. Now, in this case, what they did, not only they had a lot of online properties of 2008 campaign. Now, in 2012, what they did, they created different Facebook pages or Twitter handles for different segments of supporter base. Now, one of the reason was to engage these groups separately by providing them with the relevant content. Like one of the example is this page, women supporters, women for Obama. So in this case, like if you see the overall page, like Barack Obama's official page, he was sharing a lot of content which was on issues from children's to economy to education to all the aspects. Now they created this Facebook page where they're just sharing the content relevant which on issues which are relevant to women supporters of Obama. So that's the case. So more granular you get, better experience you are able to provide to users, and then that's where you will have much more engagement altogether. Now, one of the major upsides of audience aggregation in the digital world is, let's say Obama have aggregated 1.3 million users on this Facebook page. Now, what is the upside? First upside is his team was able to engage these audiences during the campaign, and they were able to convert these users off into voters. Okay, so that's a great upside. Now, other than that as well, like what are other upsides, guys? Any upside you could think of? So basically, these aggregated audiences always remains aggregated till the time you are showing or you are sharing the relevant content. Now, not only he was able to leverage these 1.3 million people during the voting, during the campaigns, but also after that, like when Obama became the president, he was able to utilize these aggregated audiences, these audiences on his digital platform to create ground support for his policies, from Obamacare to various policies that he wanted to implement, and he needed to get ground support. He was able to leverage these aggregated audiences for that. So once you aggregate audience, you could leverage it again and again for your ideas till the time audience is able to relate to the content or to the ideas that you're sharing. So audience aggregation is one time effort, and you could leverage it again and again for different objectives altogether. So that's a huge upside with audience aggregation. Now, 1.3 million people Obama would have leveraged continuously for different aspects till the time these 1.3 million people believe that this particular page is sharing the relevant content, they're able to relate to it, they will still be aggregated with this page. So basically, once you aggregate audiences, you could leverage it for a longer duration altogether. So it's a one-time effort which gives you results, tremendous results over a period of time. Yes, during the campaign, obviously these 1.3 million people helped in generating the momentum, virality of the campaigns, engagement, building up reach, and all. So that was the first part, but he was able to sustainably able to leverage the aggregated audiences to create ground support for his policies. Is this example clear, guys? Now, coming to an Indian example, so India's Against Corruption was one of the most active or the prominent political social movement that happened in last 5 7 years. Now, in 2011, social media was the backbone of this social and political organization movement. So basically, uh, they were fighting for a cause, and they started sharing the content, relevant content on social platforms. They were doing small meetups on in different cities, small rallies in different cities in the early stages of the movement. And what they were able to do was like through audience aggregation on social platforms, they were able to get more and more people like and share their ideas. And that really made them reach out to 1.4 million users being aggregated on this platform. Now, these 1.4 million users were engaging with the content, were able to relate to the ideas that India's Against Corruption was working on, and was sharing that content. So, basically, increasing the reach of the content that is being shared by IAC. So, again, like they were able to agree. Once they were able to get to these level of audience aggregation, they were able to leverage it over a year's period in creating the momentum for the movement altogether. Now, once you were working on a particular cause, let's say they were here, the concept was to work against corruption. Now, tomorrow, let's say they want to work for sanitation. Now, they could change the idea. Like, once corruption is solved, you could go ahead with sanitation, and then you could change out of 1.4 million people who will be able to relate to that will still be aggregated. Rest of them will stop, like, will unlike a page in case of Facebook. So people, till the time you're providing the content that customer could relate to, you will have greater audience aggregated on your platform, and you will be able to continuously leverage it as well. Now, in case of HubSpot, they have aggregated almost like 426,000 users on Facebook. Now, what kind of content do they share to engage these audiences? So they share the latest blog post on the current topics around digital marketing, which could be of like any information which could be of relevance for digital marketers. They share it. So here, once upon time, like Facebook was cracking down on like bait. So they posted this particular blog post on the topic. Facebook cracks down on newsfeed spam from brand pages. Now, other post is like this. They have shared recently that they have opened an office in Sydney. So they're targeting their customers as well. So basically, customers who are using HubSpot solution, uh, for them, like this information could be useful, particularly those who are in Australia. And the third content that they've shared is like it says they're conducting a webinar. It's touted to be the world largest webinar, and then they're promoting it. So it says only 9 days until the world largest webinar. So guys, what do you think? Like out of 426,000 people, uh, how many of like will HubSpot be able to get 10,000 signups on this webinar? What do you think at overall level, not being very specific with the numbers, but will they be able to get sign up for the webinar from these aggregated audiences? So basically, what happens is, like, once, who will be aggregating with HubSpot on this page? Guys, what makes you like a Facebook page or follow someone on Twitter? What makes you do that? What is your objective? What output do you want to get? Useful content, similar views. Okay. Like, what is the object? What is the output that you want to get out of it? You want to get the uh, content that particular brand is publishing or that particular person is publishing, or you want to continuously, particularly in case of let's say Twitter, you want to get the views of that person. So based on, for a brand, like, you want to hear more from that particular brand. So in case of HubSpot, who could be liking HubSpot's Facebook page? Basically digital marketers. Okay, because HubSpot write high value content around digital marketing techniques and tools. So all the digital marketers like their page to get more content in their feed from HubSpot. Now, once they're sharing a invitation of webinar like this, where they're conducting a webinar, out of these 4,26,000 people, they will be able to easily get 10,000 subscriber for this webinar. So that's a huge upside without incurring any cost if they are able to get 10,000 users for the webinar. Otherwise, you could think of the cost that will incur to make to reach out to 10,000 subscription of the webinar. So for that, you will need to reach out to almost 10 lakh people if you take 1% conversion rate. For that, to bring 10 lakh visitors to your website, you may reach out to almost 2 crore people taking 5% CTR and all. So it depends. A lot of cost will get involved and all. But if you have aggregated audiences, these are the most relevant and refined audiences that could be interested in the content that you're publishing. So HubSpot leverage it by showing different types of content, latest blog post, latest information about the business, doing lot of building up lot of content, creating webinars, engaging customers with that. Now, coming to another example, on Twitter, HasGeek is a organization which conducts a lot of tech conferences. Okay, now their strategy is to retweet the positive reviews of their conferences. Okay, now what happens is, like, over a period of time, 5,600 people who have aggregated with them on Twitter will be seeing positive reviews of conferences, and it helps in creating great positive image of the solution that is being provided by HasGeek itself. Now, coming to audience aggregation on email. So, Conversion Excel is a company which provides conversion optimization consulting. Now, they write high quality content around conversion optimization and related topics. So, people aggregates with them. So, usually they send newsletters. This is the format of their newsletter. So in the first half of the newsletter email, there's the latest blog post that they have mentioned. It's on the topic why research and data analysis is critical to getting your prospects to convert. Now in the second part of the email, they're making customers understand it. It's a complex process. You need to get some expert in. They are the expert, so you could sign up with their lead generation call to action. So in this email, what Conversion Excel is leveraging the aggregated audiences over email is for, first thing, to get readership for the blog post that they're writing. So they will be able to easily get like thousands of people to read their blog post, because aggregated audiences are the most refined audiences which could engage highly with the content that they're publishing. Second part is through the content in the email, they're trying by providing a right call to action, trying to convince customers that you need to get expert on board to optimize conversions further for your website. They will be able to convert a few users into leads. So not only they are able to leverage aggregated audiences to promote the content that they have to get the readership for the content they're publishing, but they are able to leverage these aggregated audiences to convert them into leads over a period of time. So these are two major upsides that any audience aggregation channel could provide, any audience aggregation strategy could provide you. So basically, it support like what are the upsides of audience aggregation? It supports your content marketing effort. It provides you with a base set of audience to promote your content. So let's say you have aggregated 1 lakh people over email. So these are the audiences will be highly engaging with the content that you will be sending to them is in newsletters. So you will always have a readership of 5,000 to 10,000, which will come at zero cost. Now that is first major upside where you will be able to leverage it for content marketing. And second major upside is it provides you with a base. It provides you with a platform to engage potential customers over long term if they're not ready to buy yet, creating more opportunities to convert. Now, basically, you're able to engage potential customers like what we discussed in case of Gadi.com examples, guys. Depending on what customer have done on the website, we were able to send individual customers the relevant content that could really help those customers in moving ahead with the decision making process. And then I think in terms of content marketing, we already discussed various examples on that. So Bharat have a point that every group has people talking positive and negative about it. So Bharat, when you say people talking, like you're just mentioning social platforms, okay? We're not talking about like what will be customers' reaction. Or what we are concerned here is like, do will we be able to get engagement on the content that we are building up if we aggregate audiences? Yes. So that's the point. Like in terms of what kind of content to build up, how many people will like it, not like it, what could be the engagement is a very subjective thing from the topic, business, geographical market you are in. Now, in case of HubSpot, like for most of the content that they could be publishing, there can't be a negative aspect to it. So when we think of businesses, like then will not be much content people could talk negatively about, unless until it's a content which is talking about the social or the political things. Guys, are these two upsides clear? Is the reason why we need to aggregate audiences clear? Are you convinced? Okay. So what we can do is we can take a few examples on both of these to see first, let's see like how once a business have aggregated audiences, how much upside do they get? How many readers do they get? And then we'll see like how various businesses are engaging potential customers by refunneling customers, by providing those potential customers the right content. So through audience aggregation, you're able to leverage it in promoting your content. Now, let's say if customers are engaging with your content over a period of time, if you are Like what happens in case of HubSpot? Like every digital marketer knows HubSpot. Okay, they may not know what kind of solution they provide, what are the services that HubSpot have and all, but everybody will be aware about HubSpot. Now, let's say there is a time that comes up where customers are looking for a CRM solution and all, and they get to know that HubSpot provides that. Okay, somehow there will be high chances that customer will convert off with HubSpot till the time like price point works for them, and then they're able to satisfy the minimum criteria. Like if HubSpot is among the best solution, customer will have a affinity to go with HubSpot. So through content marketing, you're able to create inbound interest in customers' mind so that customer could convert off when required or when they will be in a situation to convert off at the moment. Now, when you're able to aggregate audiences and when you are engaging these potential audiences to move them to the next stage, you will be able to convert off users by providing a right call to action. So in both ways, you are able to engage customers and drive customers towards transaction. Now let's see like how audience aggregation supported content marketing in each one of these businesses. So first example is of Quick Sprout, guys. Are you aware about Neil Patel, guys? Okay, not most of you are aware. So you could go through his website. He have multiple products. Like he write great content for around digital marketing techniques, tools, and strategies. So he's one of the most credible person on digital marketing content strategy. So companies are dying to get him on board as a consultant. So one of his product is Quick Sprout, guys. So he have aggregated a lot more people over a period of time. I think he must be having millions of people aggregated as email list and for him. So basically, he was able to leverage aggregated audiences by providing them with the right high quality content. So he wrote a blog post on how content length affects rankings and conversion. So basically, it's to the point. He just mentioned a line that I just wanted to share with you the latest Quick Sprout blog post. Let me know what you think. And there's a link. That's all. So if we have a million people aggregated over email, he will be able to easily get thousands of users who will read through the blog page. So maybe 50,000, 80,000 people who will click on the link in the email to read further on the blog page, because the aggregated audiences are the contains digital marketers, people who are interested in reading more about digital marketing, learning digital marketing strategies, understanding tools and techniques. So these are the right audiences for this type of content, and then could be highly engaging with this email. So he will be able to get 10,000, 50,000 readers for free of cost through this email. Not only once, but with most of the content that he will be sending to these users. Now, taking up another example, it's of Kissmetrics. Kissmetrics is a web analytics tool, guys. Similar to Google Analytics, if you want to understand, but with few upsides, and it's a paid tool. Okay. Now they shared the blog post that they have published recently on 5 reasons email marketing crushes social media marketing for B2B. So this was a blog post for targeted towards B2B customers, because Kissmetrics is majorly used by software service business. So they write a lot of content across it. So within few hours, they were able to get 600 clicks on the link that was shared on Twitter, and visitors came from 46 different countries. So these 600 clicks came from 46 different countries out of the audience that they have aggregated. So they have aggregated almost like 1 lakh people on Twitter, and they were able to instantly, within few hours, they were able to get 600 clicks coming from 46 different countries. So that's a huge upside for any business. At zero cost, they were able to reach out to these many audiences across geographies. Now, in case of HubSpot, in case of Facebook, like HubSpot have aggregated 4,27,000 people. Now, they shared this latest blog post on their Facebook page, which is on like how landing pages are secret sauce to lead generation. What kind of changes can you do to really make landing pages much more effective? So within few hours, they were able to get 450 clicks on the link that was shared through Facebook, and it was coming through 44 different countries. So once you have aggregated audiences, then if you're publishing the content, depending on how relevant that content is to your audience and how much engaging that is for your audience, they will be clicking on it, consuming the content altogether. So in case of HubSpot as well, they were able to see a upside of aggregated audiences by making them readers for the latest content that they were publishing. Now there's this concept of content spraying, like uh, same content is being shared across all social platforms. So HubSpot is available on Facebook, LinkedIn, Google Plus, Twitter. So they share the same content across all these four platforms. How so when you spray the content across different social platforms, you increase or you maximize the reach for that particular content. So that's the objective here as well. So content spraying is a great thing. Like if you're able to aggregate audiences across different platforms, sharing the content across multiple platforms will increase the reach, increase the readership for the content that you're publishing. Now, this was all the positive part. Now, coming to a limitation, guys, whenever you're aggregating audiences, you need to think through which platform are you aggregating audiences on and what kind of content will they engage with. Okay. Now, what happened with Arun Prabhudesai was like he had thousands of followers on LinkedIn. Then he shared this particular blog post on most talked about gadgets of 2012. It's an old post, but so when he wrote this, he just got 3 clicks on the link in the email, link on the post. So, what do you think, guys? What could be the reason of not getting engagement on this? Anything you could think of? Bharat, Bhavya, so this was post which was shared in 2013 only. So we took that post only. So not because it's a older post, it was relevant for timing was not a issue basically. So you have thousands of followers, guys. So audiences were so content not relevant, like particularly in those times, like if you share this kind of content over LinkedIn, nobody was engaging with it. Nowadays, there's a lot more diversity in terms of the content that people engage with on LinkedIn. But so this example shows you like you need to decide where you will be able to find the relevant audience or what kind of theme could be of the content that you will be publishing. So like-minded people will get aggregated over a period of time. Now, if you're on the wrong channel, aggregating different audiences and then publishing different sort of content, you will not get any engagement. So LinkedIn maybe now, if you share this type of content, you could get a bit more engagement, not as effective as Facebook for generic content. But at that time, it was much more specific to just business conversation. So whenever you're deciding which platform to aggregate audiences on, or what type of content should you publish, you need to really think through and then decide the theme of the content, decide the platform to aggregate audiences on. Is this point clear, guys? Okay. Now, these were few of the examples to make you understand how once you aggregate audiences, you could leverage it for promoting your content, how you can leverage it to get more readership for the content that you're publishing. Now, let's see like how a business could engage potential customers over long term if they are aggregating, if like aggregating customers before they drops off. So one thing is you need to understand the state of potential customers. You need to understand which stage customer was in before they dropped off. So customers could be in initial stages, who understands about the opportunity that your solution provides. Customer could be in a stage where they understand opportunity that your solution provides, as well as is aware about the capabilities of your solution or is aware about the products that you have. Now, there could be set of customers who are stuck at buying stage. Like they understand the opportunity, they understand what problem your solution solve, how exactly it fits into their requirements, but they have concerns or they have objections around the pricing, around the quality of the service or after sales service and all. So customer could be stuck at buying stage because of multiple reasons, include from price points to various other objections or concerns. Now comes trusting your brand. Like customer could be evaluating your solution against the ones that are available in the market. So uh, trusting your brand could be one stage customer could be stuck at, like where they're comparing a solution with the ones that are available in the market, and they want to look out for the information that could make them understand how exactly a solution is a better one as compared to competitors. Now, there could be a set of customers who are just sitting on their decision making process at the last stage. For them, like if you create sense of urgency, you will be able to convert them off. So let's go through each one of these stages and then see like how we can refunnel customers. So when we look at funnel, guys, like this is a typical five-stage funnel for which is valid for any business. You generate awareness for the solution, then like if like for any solution, let's say in case of Kissmetrics, which is a web analytics tool, they will generate awareness, making customers understand like what a particular business can do with a web analytics tool, like what kind of upside are there if a particular business uses web analytics tool. Now, once people who will be able to see the value in opting in for a web analytics tool will start considering it. They will get into the solution that Kissmetrics provides. Will try to understand how exactly Kissmetrics will be able to, what kind of leverage Kissmetrics will be able to provide. Now, people who will be further interested, they will, after understanding Kissmetrics solution, they will look out for similar solution in the market. They will go to Google Analytics, they may visit Mixpanel, they may visit few more tools to see like how Kissmetrics is compared to all these tools. So that's a preference setting phase, and based on what fits into their requirements, what really is appropriate for their requirement, and what price works for them, they will take action of purchasing a product or subscribing to a solution. And if they like the product, if they like the solution for a duration, they become loyal to that particular brand solution provider. Now, this is a typical five-step journey, guys. In this funnel, eyeballs gets in, buyers gets out. The only issue is there's a drop-off rate at each one of these stages. So out of 100 eyeballs that gets in, just two or three people converts into buyers. So that's a issue. Now, what happens is like there is a drop-off rate at every stage in this funnel. So there will be customers when they are reading content on why one should implement a web analytics tool. There will be set of customers who will drop off. Let's say 10% drop off rate is here. When people will be doing the research, understanding what Kissmetrics is, how exactly, what are the quality of the solution that they provide, and what is the quality of the solution that they provide, what are the upsides, there will be a drop off rate here as well. In the preference setting, there will be a drop off rate. At action, there will be a drop off rate. So every stage there will be a drop off rate. What we want to do, our objective is to aggregate audiences before they drop off so that we could refunnel them. So customers who dropped off from consideration, what we'll do is we'll send them an email, making them understand how Kissmetrics could fit into their requirements, and then giving a call to action to understand how Kissmetrics is better than the solutions that are available in the market. So we'll help them in moving to the preference setting phase. So depending on which stage customer dropped from, providing them with the relevant content to move them towards the next stage in the buying funnel. So now to get in detail, to understand what I just said, mentioned in last 2 minutes in detail, let's take up examples on various ways in different businesses are refunneling customers depending on the stage customer are in. So these are the various stages that customer could be in. Like customers could be in initial stages where they need to be convinced about the opportunity. Then they need to be educated about the product usage. Maybe they're perceiving some barrier in the journey. You need to remove barriers, incentivize usage, reward loyalty, create sense of urgency, trigger the purchase action. So let's get into detail of each one of these by taking examples. So, guys, do you have any questions, doubts based on whatever we have discussed till now? Okay, that's great. So, first example is from HubSpot, guys. Now, this is the blog post they wrote in 2008. It's talking about inbound marketing as the next phase of marketing on web. Okay, so it's just after the market crash in 2008. They wrote this particular blog post mentioning that market is at all-time low, and then like nobody have any money left. One of the major thing that happened with businesses is they have reduced marketing budget substantially. Now, like 2001, when last downturn began, business began shifting to some of their marketing dollars to search engine advertising. So only in 2001, SEM really picked up, because before that it was display marketing that people used to do. Why SEM picked up? Because it was much more measurable and targeted than display advertising. So it was appealing to marketers with tight budgets. In the same way, inbound marketing is the right thing to go into in 2008. So they're convincing you about the opportunity that you have of using inbound marketing techniques. Now, they're not talking about the solutions that HubSpot have. Okay, they're not talking about what kind of tools they have. All they're doing is with this content. There was a blog post, like it was a long blog post and all. So all they're doing is they're convincing you about the opportunity of using inbound marketing technique for marketing your solution. So they're just convincing you about the opportunity of using inbound marketing. Now, from that particular blog post to till now, you could see the huge increase in the implementability of inbound marketing techniques. As we move forward in this module, you will see like how prominent it became as a part of marketing strategy for businesses. It all started with this particular blog post where HubSpot started promoting inbound marketing as the next phase of marketing on web. So they're not talking about tools, they're not talking about their sales, they're not convincing users to get that solution. All they're doing is they're convincing users about the opportunity that they have of using inbound marketing. Another example, like this particular content is on the topic 9 undeniable advantages of using personalized content in your marketing. Now, here again, they're making you understand like what are the upsides or what are the advantages of using personalized content in your marketing. So they are giving you nine examples of or nine advantages that you could have. Now, again, they're not talking about the solution that they have around it. So, HubSpot do have a solution through which you could personalize the content for your marketing. But they're not talking about it. They're not pushing you for sales. They're not introducing any tool. All they're doing is simply they're making you aware about the opportunity that you have of personalizing the content in your marketing. And what will happen, guys? Once a customer is convinced about the opportunity, obviously they will look out for solution. By reading this particular blog post, if you're convinced that okay, there are huge upsides or there are major advantages of using personalized content in marketing, you will be looking out for a solution. And if you find out that HubSpot have a solution on that, you will have a inherent bias for HubSpot solution because they made you aware about the opportunity itself. So that build up credibility about the brand and the solution it could provide. Now, again, one of the blog posts from HubSpot, they're convincing users about the opportunity of using Twitter as a way to connect with more prospects. So using Twitter as a sales channel. So they're writing through it like it was one of the initial posts on using Twitter as a sales channel, and after that people started using it, and now it's one of the most prominent sales channel for certain industries. So now they're convincing users about the opportunity of using Twitter as a sales channel. So in the blog post, they're mentioning in what ways other businesses have been able to do that, what kind of experimentation, what kind of audiences are available, how to engage with them, and all. So they're convincing you about the opportunity again. Now, when you will look out for tools to engage users on Twitter, HubSpot have a solution for it. So as you could see, like they have solution for each one of these things that they're writing, but they're not promoting it. All they're doing is simply making customers understand the opportunity that they have in for a particular in a particular direction. And once customer moves in that direction, if customer will find out that HubSpot have a solution because of the high quality content that HubSpot provided, there is already credibility in customers' mind about the solution that HubSpot could provide. Now, coming out of HubSpot's examples, guys. Now, Conversion Excel, as I mentioned, is a service provider which optimizes conversion rate for any business. Now, here they're talking about the ultimate guide to increasing e-commerce conversion rates. So everybody is stuck like what is the right conversion and all. It says like don't worry about average rates. A good conversion rate to strive for is better than the one you have right now. There are just too many variables that affects conversion, so it's very difficult to have apples to apples comparison between sites. Quality of traffic is a major contributor. And all these blog posts were bigger, guys, or longer than what you could see on my screen. It was difficult to put up the whole blog post. So they're convincing you about the opportunity of increasing conversion rates. So they're making you understand there's always a scope to increase conversion rates. But it's a difficult process because there are just too many variables involved. So you need to get the expert in, and they are the experts. That's the solution that they provide. Okay. But they're convincing you about the opportunity rather than pushing you for sales. Another example is on of mixed panel. So this is the most important aspect of refunneling customers, guys. Customers who are in the early stages, what generally businesses do is, or what's the initial tendency of anybody who is starting up refunneling is, they try to push sales to customers by incentivizing them and all. If customer is not convinced about the opportunity, they will not move forward at all. First, you need to make customer understand the opportunity that they have of using a particular techniques or tool which you have built up. So here Mixpanel is a web and app analytics tool. Now one of the uniqueness is like they track customer journey based on events rather than page views, signups and all. So based on what action customer is doing, they create funnel. That's the kind of data that is available. So they're talking about BS metrics. It says every day feels same. A fledgling startup tries to appear like up and coming market leader while the market incumbent aims to protect its dominance. It has become exhausting to keep up with how fast everyone seems to grow. 1 lakh new users per week to 20 billion monthly page views there. And let's not pass up the watershed movement like 300 million members total. So basically, these are industry's most praised metrics, but this doesn't give you any uh, sense in terms of how a business is performing. To understand that, you need to see through how many people are performing the relevant action on your website. May not be visiting the page views, but how many people are clicking on that really important action of playing a video? Because people who see through the video have a higher conversion rate altogether. So based on what action customer is doing rather than what pages customer are viewing, will be much more relevant for any business to track. So they are convincing you about the opportunity of tracking customer journey in a different way, looking at customer journey from different perspective to get a much better understanding in terms of how your digital business is performing. So again, you could see, as in all examples, they're not pushing you for any sales. They're not making you understand what Mixpanel provides. They're just convincing you about the idea that they have in their mind. Now, in case of Kissmetrics, which is a web analytics tools, guys, majorly used by software as a service businesses, uh, they're talking about 5 must-have metrics for your SaaS business. So they're talking about KPIs, key performance indicators, how can you use them, how to set it up. You should not have more than 50 KPIs. So they're making you aware about web analytics, how you need to track uh, your digital business performance using key performance indicators so that you could get a sense at every time how your business is performing, where you should improve upon. So they are again convincing you about the opportunity of using a web analytics tool. So all these examples was to convince you about the opportunity for the solution in the direction of the solution that these businesses provide. But they are not pushing you for sales, they are not making you aware about the solution that they sell. Are these examples clear, guys? So this is the most asked question, like how to convince users about opportunity. So there were a lot of diverse examples, that's why, to show you like how it is being done by different businesses. Are these examples clear, guys? Let me know if something is not clear, if you have any doubts or questions. Okay. Now, once customers are aware about opportunity, you need to make them aware about the solution that you have. So in case of Kissmetrics, they're talking about the funnel. So it says every business also needs to track its marketing funnel. Here's what one looks like for a SaaS business. So for a SaaS business, software as a service business, guys. So first step could be visiting the website, then signing up, then activation of account, then billing. So you could see like the overall conversion rate is just 0.1%. You will be able to see how many people are at a particular step, how many of them are converting and moving ahead to the next stage in the funnel, and what is the overall conversion rate. So if you want to improve this, you could see the step conversion rate. You will be able to get and understand like where is the step where you need to improve the conversion rate. So basically by seeing the funnel, you will be able to visualize how your business is performing and how customers are moving from one step to another. How many customers, and then what can you do to improve that? So it makes you aware about the capabilities the solution of Kissmetrics provides you. So educating about the product usage. In case of HubSpot, like after making you aware about the opportunity of using personalized content in your marketing, they're giving you 33 examples of dynamic tags to personalize your email sends. By using the solution that they provide, by using the product that they provide to personalize content, they're showing you 33 examples of dynamic tags which are being used by various businesses to customize the content. So here, like they're giving you the first one where you could customize the first name, customize the email with first name of customers by making it a variable. And if you upload an Excel sheet which contains email address and first name of customers, it will be customized accordingly. So once they convinced you about the opportunity, now they are making you aware about the solution or the product usage. In case of mixed panel, they makes you aware about like how you will be able to utilize mixed panel to see which source is contributing how much traffic, what is the quality of each one of these sources, what is the quality of the traffic that is coming through each one of these sources, and how it is getting affected day over day, hour over hour, or a week over week, and you will be able to simply visualize it and then take decisions accordingly. So this is making you aware about how mixed panel solution could be utilized to get to this kind of insights about the business. Are these examples clear, guys, on educating customers about the product usage? Now coming to profiling your customers, okay. Now this is really important. You could convince users about the opportunity, you could make them aware about the product usage, you could educate them about your solution, but still customer drops off. Now you need to profile your users, profile your customers so that you understand what are the reasons they are dropping off. So in this case, Weebly is the example, guys. Weebly is a platform which provides solution for customers to build up their website. Okay, using Weebly as a platform. Now Kaya, uh, who signed up on Weebly a month ago, after she haven't re-logged in. She haven't used this tool after signing up on Weebly platform. So this email was sent to Kaya after a month's time of her signing up on the platform. Uh, so let's go through the content of the email. It says, we noticed that you signed up with us last month, but have not finished your website. That makes us really sad. We're always trying to improve Weebly and your feedback would really help us. And just click one of the following links to let us know why you decided not to use Weebly. And they have listed down the prominent reasons that I'm too busy and I'm going to hire someone. I lost interest in having my own website. I need features that Weebly doesn't have. Weebly is too hard to use. I couldn't get my website to look the way I wanted. Or they're keeping the options open by providing you the opportunity of sending if you have any other reasons. So what they're doing is they're profiling customers by understanding what hampered their journey. So what they are able to do is they will be able to understand what is the barrier perceived by customers. So guys, will you be replying to this kind of an email? Let's say you were in place of Kaya, where you would be requiring a website, but due to certain reasons you haven't moved ahead. What do you think, guys? Will you be replying to this kind of an email? Vipin, I'm not able to get your point. Guys, there is no one who will not reply to this email. You could mention it in the chat box. We have an interesting solution for you. So basically, this is the first email that they sent to customers who dropped off and haven't interacted with the website for over 1 month period by asking them for questions to get their feedback. Now, obviously, there will be set of customers who will reply to this kind of a solution. There will be set of customers who will not reply to it. Okay, that's being given. Now, yeah. So, Bhavya, in those cases, it becomes too subjective in terms of which stage customer could be in. So depending on what customer exactly wants, they could really interact with this email or they could ignore this email as well. depending on what was the objective and how serious the customer is about creating the website. Yes. So there will be set of customers who will reply to this email. There will be set of customers who will not reply to this email. Now, to get to the last customer who could be a useful feedback provider. So customers who don't reply to this email, there is the second email that goes to them, which is directly from the founder of Weebly. It says that I'm a founder of Weebly, and I noticed that it's been a long time since you have logged in into Weebly. We are a small company based out of San Francisco. We really work hard to at Weebly at making Weebly the easiest, fastest, and the most powerful way for you to create a website, blog, or online stores. If you ended up not needing a website, feel free to ignore this email. But if you tried using Weebly and it didn't work out for you, I would like to personally see if I can help. Feel free to email me at, as I have provided his email address, and let me know what problems you ran into, and I would love to uh, help get them resolved. So there will be set of customers who will not reply to the first email. Um, they could reply to this email. Now, obviously, there will again be number of people who will not reply to any of these two emails. Okay, that. But what these emails gets you is the feedback of customers who dropped off. So you're able to better understand what are the barriers perceived by customers. So once you're able to see the barriers perceived by customers, you could counter those barriers. You could work on removing those barriers to make it much more efficient journey for customers. Now, let me give you an example, guys, on removing barriers. How many of you have signed up on Google AdWords, guys? Did you receive this kind of email which you could see on my screen? Okay. So basically, what was happening with Google AdWords was like around say 5 6 years ago. A lot of people were signing up on Google AdWords, but were not starting their first campaign. Nowadays, the dynamics have changed altogether. They don't let people sign up if they don't, if people are not setting up their billing addresses, billing details, and all. But earlier, like in 2010, 11, like 6 7 years ago, you would have signed up on Google AdWords anyways without setting up billing details and all. So what they saw was like a lot of people were signing up on Google AdWords but not starting their first campaign. So what did Google do? They reached out to these customers to understand the barriers perceived by customers, like what we discussed in case of Weebly. They use multiple sources, offline, online, various ways to reach out to customers to see the feedback. And they understood that there are huge barriers perceived by customers in setting up their first campaign. The customers are not able to understand what will the pricing of the solution. Customers are not able to understand how to select keywords, how to create ad copies. So setting up the first campaign is a huge barrier altogether. Okay, and because customers are not able to see through how to leverage the platform. Okay, now based on the feedback, based on the list of barriers that they were able to see, they created this service where AdWords specialist reach out all nowadays they reach out to every customer who signs up, but earlier they were reaching out to customers, only those customers who signed up and have not started the first campaign within a week's time. So this email was again is a older email guide running ads. I'm an AdWords specialist. I can get help you get launched and get more out of AdWords. Our experts can even create your entire first campaign for you. We'll set up the basic campaign structure, help define your targeting strategy, choose keywords, write a couple of ad text, all designed to drive as many visitors to your website as possible Our job is to get you off to a successful start with Google AdWords. Also, we wanted you to be aware that as a new advertiser, we are currently running a program that helps you turn $25 into $100 of advertising to try out AdWords. Now they're mentioning that there are no charge for the account setup fees as long as you meet the minimum spend requirements. So basically, based on the barriers perceived by customers, they created this service where they're free of cost. They're providing this service to customers to set up the initial campaign, to select the right keywords, to create ad copies, so that once the first campaign is live, customer is much more comfortable altogether in creating much more campaigns. Okay, they will be able to see how much is the performance, how exactly to run through the tool altogether, the platform. Now they're incentivizing as well. Earlier in Indian market, they used to provide 5,000 rupees voucher to customers. Nowadays they provide 2,000 rupees voucher. In international markets, they used to provide $100 voucher earlier. Nowadays haven't I'm not aware like how much incentive they provide. But so basically, this is a great example on removing barriers, guys. Once you are able to profile your users, profiling your users is of paramount importance, not only to resolve the issue that customers are feeling, but also to understand what what is making customer not moving forward. What are the reasons that customers have on that? So profiling your users will give you much more better insights to see like where your solution could be improved or what can be done to make more people move to ahead to the next stage in the buying funnel. And then you will be able to remove barriers like what we have discussed here. Is this example clear, guys? Now, based on these examples, you could see your mailboxes. There will be certain mails that are showing opportunity to you. There could be certain emails that are making you aware about a product or a solution. There could be certain emails that are profiling you. There could be certain emails that are removing barriers from your journey. And then we'll discuss few more examples on refunneling of customers depending on the stage customer is in. Before that, guys, let's take up a break for 25 minutes. Does that work with you guys? Okay, so let's regather at 11:50 then. If you have any questions or doubts, guys, you can put that in the chat box. And once we'll be back at 11:50, I will discuss those questions. Okay, guys, so then let's regather at 11:50 for the second part of the session. Guys, is everyone back? Now, providing a right trigger purchase action. Now, whenever you're providing a trigger purchase action as well, now you could think through it that let's say if you're providing an option for customer, like let's say there is a call to action which you could see on my screen. Now, Unbounce is providing you Unbounce, which is a landing page creation platform, is providing you with a 30-day free trial. Now, they would have just mentioned start your 30-day free trial. You could think that that could be a sufficient call to action. But what could be the objective? What are the major USPs of Unbounce as a platform? You will be able to do A/B testing. You will be able to create high converting landing pages. So basically, so the trigger purchase action is want higher conversion, create an A/B test, high converting landing pages. So basically, recreating the core USP, core usability of the solution that HubSpot provides, and then using it at the call to action point itself, it will trigger more purchase action. So basically, you will see businesses who are providing a free solution or a free trial for a certain duration also needs to optimize that trigger purchase action to make more people sign up for the free trial. Now, in case of Kissmetrics, what they do is within the blog page itself, within the blog post itself, they have these kind of call to action, which ask customers, like which provides an opportunity for customer to sign up for Kissmetrics 14-day free trial. Now, there is no better time to convert of a user than when he or she is reading through the blog page. So what happens here in this case is like we are able to like customer who is going through understanding like what web analytics is, how Kissmetrics could solve the issue of tracking performance of digital business and all. Now that's the time where they could be ready to sign up on Kissmetrics 14-day free trial. So having these kind of call to action either in between the blog page at the right step or after the blog post, it's a great step. It provides you with a huge upside. Now, when we think of providing a right trigger purchase action, like one example that we discussed in the last session as well is of Dell Outlet, where they created this Twitter handle to provide exclusive deals for US customers on refurbished Dell products. Now, they were optimizing these tweets to get timing of the tweets as well as the content of the tweets to get more people click on the link and more people purchase the product from the website. Now, what they started doing is they started putting up limited quantities available, and it made more people click on the link in the on these tweets and visit the website. So basically, when you are creating the content, you need to think through what could make more people click on the link, how you can create much more effective purchase action for customer to interact with. Now, another interesting example on the same concept is of Miro, guys. Miro is an online jewelry platform. Now, earlier, like what the case is, like they have aggregated a lot of people on Facebook. Okay. Now they wanted to monetize the Facebook audience heavily. Now, what can be done here? So earlier, what they used to do was like they used to post product image. This is one of the product that they have, and they used to post the product name and the URL. Now, what they did in the scenario, which is currently scenario 2, they started posting the price point as well with the product name and the URL. So, guys, what do you think? Like having the price point on the post, will that increase the number of people visiting the website, or will that decrease the number of people visiting the website? Okay, sharply increase, increase. Nobody is for decrease, guys. So it's subjective. Why? Because if the perceived price of this product is, let's say, more than 1450, if you believe this product should be priced to around 2000, if the perceived price is around 2000, and if you are able to see that it's like on Miro, it's available at 1450, there will be more clicks and there will be more conversions. If the perceived price of this product is less than 1450, there will be lesser number of clicks and lesser conversions. So if the perceived price is around 1000 rupees, if Miro is selling at 1450, it may generate lesser interest altogether. Can we say that, guys? So mentioning a price point as a strategy to generate more purchase action works only in cases where you're really confident of providing the product at the best price possible. Yes, Bhavya, that's the point I've just mentioned. Like, you need to think through like what your product is, you're pricing that product, and how that is compared to what's available in the market, and who your target audiences are. So yeah, in those cases, decrease will not be possible, but depending on the product quality, depending on the segment altogether of users as well as the product, it will be there. Now, in general, if the perceived price of the product is higher, you get more clicks, more conversions. If the perceived price of the product is less than what you mentioned, you will get lesser clicks and lesser conversions. But in both the cases, your conversion rate may increase. There will be high probability of conversion rate increasing because you will get much more relevant audiences to your website. Is this example clear, guys? Bhavya, is this point clear? Guys, is this example clear? I could see 9 people online. I just received 3 responses. Is everyone there in the session? Okay. Now, in case of Neil Patel, like everybody wants to get him on board for the digital marketing consulting. So he have aggregated like millions of people over last few years. Now he reached out to people when he had a slot left with this kind of email. It says, "I'm currently accepting applications for companies to hire me for SEO and digital consulting. If you would like to be considered, visit his website." It would trigger the purchase action altogether uh, for customers, because the demand and the supply gap, like basically every major business who is aware about Neil Patel would want to get him on board, to get him on board as a consultant for SEO or digital marketing, and then will be rushing to his website to sign up on his form. Okay. So this was all about making you understand like how you could refunnel customers, guys, based on in all these concepts. Depending on the stage customer is in, you could provide right information to customers, provide the right trigger purchase action. You could create sense of urgency, or you could profile your users and remove barriers from their journey, or you could show them the opportunity. You could convince customers about the opportunity that they have by using a solution, or you could make them aware about the product usage. So all these examples was to make you understand like in what ways can businesses refunnel customers. Now, now since we already discussed and we understand like what is audience aggregation, why do we need to aggregate audiences, now let's understand how to aggregate audience. Now when we say like on audience aggregation, we'll see like what are the channels that are available, how to select among all the channels that are available, what are the upsides of all these channels which could be utilized for audience aggregation. We'll see how what are the tools that are available. Then we'll see like how to build up audiences for the channel that we have selected. Then we'll see like how to set up content machinery, how to plan customer journey, and how to create effective segments and target customers with relevant content. So let's go through this. Before moving forward, guys, if you have any doubts or questions, feel free to ask. Okay. So the first step is selection of distribution channel. Uh, what are the channels that are available? So any channel where customer could do a particular action which could create an opportunity for a business to reach out to that customer at a later stage. Okay, social platforms are the most appropriate audience aggregation channel, where if you like Facebook business page of a particular brand, or if you follow someone on Twitter, you get aggregated with that particular platform. So basically, social platforms are great audience aggregation platforms. All the social platforms where if you do a particular action, a business will be able to reach out to you with the information that they want. Then comes email. Email is the oldest and the most effective audience aggregation channel. We'll see why. So then comes forums and community based website, where customer could be engaged on these platforms, on various forums and community based websites. But the trend is on like trend is on trend is like where forums and community based websites are on decline because of more prominence of social platforms, particularly Facebook groups and Google groups, or platforms like Quora have been reducing the effectiveness or the importance of forums or community based websites. So these are on decline. So let's go ahead with understanding like how to select among social platforms and emails which channel to aggregate audiences on. What are the upsides of individual platforms? Now, when we say like when we are going through the discussion of which channel to select among all available channels between all social platforms and emails. Now, these are five criteria that could help you in selecting the distribution channel. That could make much more that could provide you with much more clarity the ways in which you will be able to utilize these channels. So first criteria is reach. Now in case of reach, guys, what do you think, like which channel provides you with highest reach? Let's say I've aggregated 10,000 people over email. Same 10,000 people have liked my Facebook page, and those 10,000 people have followed me on Twitter as well. Now I want to reach out to them with the information. Okay, now, which channel will provide me with highest reach, guys, and why? Nitin, Rohit, Vipin, why email? Why not Facebook or Twitter? Any reasons you could think of? Why not Twitter or Facebook? Vipin, in case of email as well, customer needs to come to their mailboxes. Okay. Nikita, I'm not talking about on which platform will you be able to do customization. I'm just talking about the reach. I'm not talking about the engagement that your content could bring. Bharat, that may not be a valid point, because all I'm concerned is reaching out to these 10,000 people, which are available across these three platforms: email, Facebook, and Twitter. All these three platforms, they are there. So it doesn't matter if more people are using email as compared to Facebook or Twitter. I'm all concerned. Like, my question is just around these 10,000 customers who are available on each one of these platforms and have aggregated with me on email, Twitter, and Facebook. Okay, relevant information based on TG and customized approach. So again, Nitin, I'm not talking about where I will be able to do personalization, target customers at individual level. I'm not talking about any of these. If I post something on Facebook, if I have 10,000 likes on the page, how many people will I be able to reach out to? What do you think, guys? Is there anyone who is a owner of a Facebook business page? Bhavya, you are saying I will be able to reach out to 20,000 people on Facebook? And how that be possible? Like, guys, is there anyone who is a owner of a Facebook business page? Okay. Shared, like, or tagged. What is the engagement rate? Like, what do you think could be the engagement rate on a particular post? Like, how many people, like, what percentage of people who are seeing the post could like or share it? Those numbers are very minute. Now, even if you share it, like, it will not amplify the post. Okay, can reach to 50 to 70%. Engagement will be 20 to 30%. Okay. Nikita, have you seen a Facebook business page? Like, have you posted something and seen the number? Are you talking about the video? Video as a content? Okay, images 50 to 70% reach. That's surprising altogether. But in any case, it could be possible in certain cases. So basically, what happens, guys, is like the answer is email. Okay, but just wanted each one of you to understand the reason behind it. So in case if you're sending 10,000 email to customers whom you have aggregated, by audience aggregation, what we mean is customer have opted in to receive email from your site. So they have verified their email address as well. So when you're sending 10,000 emails, you will have 100% reach. Okay. So email will have highest reach. Why? Because in case of Facebook and Twitter, these platform restricts the reach of a post. Okay. So let's say in case you have 10,000 people who have liked your Facebook page, typically based on the campaigns I've done in last 3 4 years, based on number of pages that I've managed, on an average you get around 20% to 30% reach. Okay, so if you post something, you will be able to reach out to 2,000 to 3,000 people on it. Now it depends on how much engagement is there on the content. If there is again good engagement, it could increase the reach further. If there is lesser engagement, it could decrease the reach. You could be able to reach out to 1,000 people out of 10,000. Now that is the part. Now it depends on the type of content as well, like where links, if you're sharing text, it will reach out to lesser number of people. If you're sharing image, it will reach out to more number of people. If you're sharing video, you will be able to reach out to most number of people out of these 10,000. But again, it will be under 50% in most of the cases, unless and until it's a viral content. The probability of that is very low altogether. If it's a viral content, like which happens out of let's say 1 billion posts, there could be 10 possible content that could go viral and could have a reach 10,000x reach of the number of people you have aggregated on Facebook. So when we talk of averages, like Facebook have a reach between 20 to 30% of the audience that is being aggregated. Now, why they do it? Because the algorithm restricts the reach of the post. Why? Because they want people to put in money to increase the reach of the post. That's where you will see a lot of sponsored posts. where you need to put in money to increase the reach, to reach out to more people on Facebook with that post. Now, in terms of Twitter, then again, it's at a larger scale. Like they restricts the reach to just 15 to 20% at max. And if you want to go beyond that, again, you need to put in money to get more reach. Now, this is valid in one case. Another case is where a tweet goes viral. In those cases, you will have exponential reach, but that will happen in less than once in a million kind of a chance altogether in context of the overall content that is being published on Facebook or Twitter. Is the first point clear, guys? Why email have the highest reach, then comes Facebook and Twitter? It's inherently something which Facebook and Twitter wants to do, where they restricts the reach of the post so that customer could boost that, and it's a revenue channel for them. Now coming to second criteria, content publishing frequency. So when we talk about content publishing frequency, guys, let's do a quick survey to understand this. What do you think, guys, as a digital user, for you, what could be the right frequency of sending you an email? Let's say from Digital Vidya side, we want to send you an email, okay? Or we want to send you a series of emails, okay? Now, what could be the right frequency? What is your preferred frequency? Okay, once a week. What about other people, guys? You don't want to receive an email, you could mention that as well. But if you, but I really require your responses. Okay, it's not at all acceptable. I don't want to emphasize on it again and again. I have just enough said. I enoughly explained that point in the session number one. If they're in the session, if you're there in the session, guys, you need to respond. Like only then it makes sense for you to be present in the session. Okay, once a week, bi-weekly, two, three times a week, two, three times a week. Okay. So maybe two times a week is the frequency. Now, what do you think if you like if we want to get the mind share of majority of the customers? What could be the frequency of for a business? What should be the frequency of posting something on Facebook, guys? You could tell as a digital user, so you don't have to think. You just need to be the user you are on these platforms, and just think through that scenario, and you will have the answer, guys. So it's not a complicated question that I'm asking. At least three times a week, alternate days, once a day, okay? And what do you think about Twitter? Like, what should be the frequency of tweeting? Like, if a business wants to get some mind share of customers on Twitter platform, what should be the frequency? Like, what do you think? Like, for you as a digital user, what could be a frequency that could work well for you? 5 to 10 in a day minimum, okay? What about other people? Every day, okay? Frequency, or what could be a preferred frequency for you if you what do you think is a good frequency of tweeting for a business to engage you as a digital user? So I think Bhavya mentioned 5 to 10 in a day. For Vipin, it's once in a day. So by inherent nature of these social platforms, you could see higher content publishing frequency. On an average, what happens is, in case of email, usually people prefer one email in a day, one email in a week's time. Sorry. Or if you take average, like one email in 7 to 10 days is the frequency across B2B and B2C segments. In case of Facebook, the preferred frequency is once in a day or once every alternate day. And in case of Twitter, it's at least 3 to 5 tweets in a day to engage customers across these platforms. So inherently, Facebook email favors lower frequency as compared to Facebook and Twitter. So if you are a platform, if you are a business which is publishing content at a very high frequency, which is news publishing platforms, for them, like social platforms makes much more sense as compared to email, because if you send 5 emails in a day to customers, they will put you in spam or they will unsubscribe from your site. Now, if you just post once in a week or once in 2 weeks on Facebook, nobody will remember you. If you tweet once in a week, like again, nobody will remember you, nobody will engage with your kind of tweets. So inherently, these platforms have their own frequency patterns, and then that's where like lower frequency is favored by emails. So if you're publishing content at lower frequency, you should think of email as a distribution channel as compared to social platform. If you're publishing content at higher frequency, social platforms. Bhavya, what do you mean by other business? Like any business could choose social platform. Like first you need to, like other patterns which you need to think through is, yeah, sure, like fashion industry, like people, let's say in the fashion industry, which are or all the e-commerce players, or let's say in case of food tech as well, like in case of fashion, food, even tech industry, like they're really active on Twitter, on LinkedIn as well. Like in case of B2B products, like LinkedIn could be a great channel for them of publishing content. So fashion will be much more on Instagram, because that's the right TG that they will be able to find. They need to publish content at a higher frequency there itself as compared to Facebook. Or in case of B2B businesses, depending on which industry, LinkedIn could be a greater channel, better channel than any other channel. Kamalpreet, there is no standard guide to it for different businesses, different frequency works. But in terms of like when you talk about averaging, average frequency, like it's around one post in 2 to 3 days. Okay, how one select between these platforms? So as we were discussing, so we are discussing differences between email, Facebook, and Twitter. So Facebook and Twitter is as compensated here. Now, on the same way, like we could add LinkedIn, which is just popular in one context for B2B conversations, majorly. Okay, or we could add Instagram, which again could be extrapolated to Facebook, because the algorithm works in a similar way. So, does that make it clear, Bhavya? So the point was like, as compared to social platforms, if email favors lesser frequency, lower frequency of content publishing. Now, in terms of social platforms, Facebook favors a bit higher frequency than Twitter. Instagram have a similar frequency like Facebook, and then LinkedIn too is between is lesser than Facebook. Is between email and Facebook. Now, coming to the third point, third criteria, which is content consumption pattern. Now, inline consumption favors social platforms. So, what happens is, what happens here in this case is, like in case of social platforms, you could share different types of content, and people will be able to consume that content without moving to a third party platform. So, what I mean by that is, if you're publishing video, if you're publishing image, if you're publishing text content, if you're publishing infographics, all these content could be consumed by customers within social platform itself. So that's called inline consumption. Within the platform itself, you will be able to consume the content. While scrolling through your news feed, you are able to consume every content that comes up there. In case of email, what happens is, like let's say you have published a video, Now you will send the link of the video to customers through email. Customer will need to click on that link, will need to come to a third party platform to consume that video. So that's outline consumption. In case of social platforms where customer is able to consume different types of content within the platform itself, uh, it, it's it, it's called inline consumption. Does that make it clear, Vipin, Bharat? Okay. So basically, if you're publishing different types of content, okay, if you're publishing content across video, infographics, text, blogs, you need to like social platform. And if you think like you want to get more engagement there, you need to it favors social platform, because when customer are able to do inline consumption, there is much more engagement. And that's where you will see, as compared to sending, you have aggregated 1 lakh people on Facebook and you have aggregated 1 lakh people on email, you will have a much more uh, engagement on social platforms as compared to email. We just, in the first criteria we were discussing reach. Now when we think of inline consumption, it's all about the engagement. So in case of social platform, you will have much more better engagement as compared to email. Now coming to the fourth criteria, profiling, personalization and targeting. Now this is possible only in case of email. Email is being still considered as the primary ID of a customer in the digital world. Now that's where like it's being used to profile users. Now businesses have been utilizing, or businesses have been providing an option for users to sign up through their social platforms as well. But what happens is, like, from social platform itself, they pick up the email IDs and again use email as a primary way to identify a user in the digital world. So profiling is there. Once you are able to profile users, once you are able to see what action they have done, what activities they have done on your website, you will be able to create personalized information as well. Now, to a certain extent, you are able to profile users based on their social profile, social ID as well. Let's say you there are few businesses which have just one option of signing up with Facebook, maybe like Tinder kind of a business, where the only option is you need to have a Facebook account to sign up. So for them, like, they could utilize Facebook ID to profile you and to send you personalized content. But again, in those cases as well, targeting customers at individual level. So targeting customers at individual level is possible only in case of email. So you can personalize content at individual level and then target customers only in case of email. In case of social platforms, what happens is, like, you could create segments and you could target customers at segment level, not at individual level. So that's the limitation altogether of social platforms. And that makes email much more relevant for inbound marketing. Now we'll come to this statement again after we discuss the fifth criteria, which is channel stability. So in case of email, it's being an open source technology. Like, you could build up your own internal email infrastructure, so you're not dependent on third party. In case of social platforms, what happens is, like, these are proprietary platforms which have their own business objective, which are generate which want to optimize and get more revenue for their own business. So you have no control over the algorithms, the changes that they could bring over a period of time. In case of email, you are pretty independent in terms of what you could do and achieve. You're not dependent on third party. But in case of Facebook, tomorrow if it alters the algorithm, it will affect your business if you're much more dependent on Facebook or Twitter. Now what happens is, like, and that happened in case of news-based websites. Like, Facebook is the primary distribution platform for them. Now, last year in August, Facebook saw that there is a decrease in the engagement that people are having on their news feed. Now, when figuring out the reasons, they were able to see that uh, people are seeing more posts from brand pages as compared to their friends, and inherently people engages more with the friend posts from friends as compared to brand pages, and that's reducing the average engagement by users on news feeds. So what they did, they reduced the reach of the post from brand pages, and that decreased the reach of these news based websites by almost 10%. So that was a huge impact on the revenue for these news based websites as compared to like other channels. So basically, and they had no say in it, they were not aware about it and all. So if these proprietary platforms are optimizing their own revenue, like revenue streams and all, so the stability of channel is very low in those cases as compared to email. So by proprietary platforms, I mean like somebody who have their own objective with their own objective, who have created those platforms. So in case of email, there are two types of things you could do. Either you could go to a third-party solution like Mailchimp, Aweber, Emarsys, or you could build up your own internal email infrastructure as well. All the banks, big e-commerce companies, they have their own internal email infrastructure in place. So you're not dependent on third party uh, to tweak the algorithm and then affect your business. Is this point clear, Bhavya? Now there are various technologies that you could use to build up internal email infrastructure. They have their own upsides or downsides. There are various ways of creating templates of the emails, ways of deciding at what time it will trigger, what will be the segments and all, which will decide what will be your delivery rate, how much will be, how many people will you be able to reach out to. But when we talk about aggregated audiences, you are able to reach out to almost 100% of the users if you have verified their email address. So while customers are opting in to receive email from your site, they are verifying their email address, and in that case, across all the platforms, you will have 100% reach. Okay. So in terms of promotional email, it could be a issue, Bhavya. So when we talk about reaching out to new customers, when we bought audiences from third party, and we want to reach out to them through email, there could be an issue where Gmail have their own filtering or spam algorithm, Yahoo have their own spam algorithm, and they will restrict the reach of the emails. But in cases where you have aggregated audiences, which is the context here, will have the 100% reach. That's where you will see you never miss a transactional email from any of the banks or any e-commerce website. You may miss a promotional email. You may get a promotional email in your spam box, but you will never receive a transactional email or an update from a particular airline or a e-commerce platform. So when we talk about audience aggregation, we're talking about customer opting in to receive email from your site. So these are the five criteria, guys. Now, it's not the objective. Like these are not the only criteria that you need to decide. You need to base your decision on. These criteria could help you in understanding inherently what are the characteristics of each one of these platforms, and in what ways can these platforms be useful for your business. But other like there will be a lot of subjectivity in terms of what your business is, which is what is your geographical market, which industry you are in, what kind of engagement, what type of content are you publishing, where you will be able to find the relevant audience which could engage with the type of content you're publishing, at what frequency you're publishing your content. So those are other factors that you need to consider. But these are the objective points around the platforms that are available. These are the points based on the characteristics of individual platforms that could help you in your decision making. Now, there will be a lot of subjectivity that will come up in terms of the type of the business you have decided to build strategy for. So, if it's fashion, you need to understand will you get engagement on email, or Instagram will be a better channel. So, obviously, you need to think through where you will be able to find the relevant audience. So, the session number one is still relevant in this case. You can't, like, email is the most effective channel because you could do profile personalization targeting, so you can't just choose it for every business. There are limitation to it. If your audience will not engage, or if the type of content you're publishing is not really great for email, then you need to choose social platforms if that works for you. So other than these important characteristics of these platforms, it depends on the business and the type of audience that you want to target as well. So is this step clear, guys? Step number one, choosing the distribution channel. Okay. Now, as I mentioned, like, it's not just like about selecting a single channel. For most of the businesses, it makes sense to be present across different channels, different platforms, and to aggregate audiences across different platforms. And then most of the businesses go for multiple channels to aggregate audiences, and that makes sense as well. These criteria could help you in prioritizing among those channels as well. In what ways can you really leverage different platforms? It will give you much more clarity, and you will be able to prioritize. Now, this session is further built for email as a distribution channel. Why? Because only in case of email we are able to do profiling, personalization, and targeting. That's what we want to learn in this module. Okay. Now, you could say, what about social platforms? We want to see like how to aggregate audiences there, how to engage them, and all. So, in case of social platforms, like social media marketing module is all about that. So, social platform inherently works on aggregation of audiences, where you're creating more likes on your Facebook page, or you're making more people follow you, and you need to create content strategy to engage these audiences continuously and then convert them off over a period of time. So that's the whole topic that you will learn in the social media marketing module. So there's a separate module altogether for it. So let's see in today's session like how email could be used as a distribution channel. What are the things that could be done in that scenario? Now, once you select email as a distribution channel, you need to select an email distribution tool. Now, in case of social platforms, those platforms are in itself tools. Okay. In case of email, you need to select a distribution tool. What are the available options that you have? You have standard mail solutions, or you have an opportunity to build internal email infrastructure. Standard mail solutions like MailChimp, Aweber, Amarces, MailerLite, all these solutions are there where you just need to sign up. They have a free tier of their solution as well. You just need to upload subscriber list, select a template, upload the content, and you're ready to shoot emails to your subscribers. Now, internal email infrastructure comes at a very high cost, so it becomes cost effective only on a large scale. If you are a small business, if you're starting up, going ahead with standard mail solution is the most appropriate option for you. It's the cost effective one as well. Now, once you select the distribution tool, depending on how much cost you could incur, what is your scale, how much effort you could put in to build up the technology, uh, now you need to build up. Sorry, guys, but there was some issue at my end. So, are you able to hear me now? Okay. Now, once you have decided email as a distribution channel, once you have decided on the tool as well, now you need to build up audiences. Now, in what ways can you build up audiences? Obviously, you need to ask customers for their email address. So let's take up example of Digital Vidya itself, guys. In what ways Digital Vidya is asking for your email address on the website? Can you think of any? Like, in what ways Digital Vidya is aggregating customers over email on the website? Guys, do you remember any of the ways? Okay. Webinar is one. Asking customer to sign up is another one. Okay. What else? Did you see free orientation session, guys? Okay. Free module. So free orientation session is the major contributor to aggregation of high quality audience. Then, Rohit, email campaigns can't be used to aggregate audiences over email because we need to get email address of customers to send them emails. So free orientation session is there. Lot of webinars are there. Then there are blog posts, guys. People could subscribe to newsletters. Did you see that? Now there is a pop-up that comes up if you try to exit the website. It used to come up. Nowadays it doesn't. But which was providing you with a case study. If you provide the your if you provide your email address and name there and phone number, obviously. Now, did you try to download the curriculum from the website, guys? Did you ever try to download the curriculum? Again, it asks for your email address. So that's another way to aggregate audience because people who are interested in digital marketing course who visits Digital Vidya's website will be interested in downloading the curriculum. Now, at that point itself, if we ask customers for their email address before they could download the curriculum, we are able to aggregate customers who are in early stages of their research. So that's another way to aggregate audiences, particularly audiences who are in the early stages of their research. Now, what else is there? On different pages, there are different incentives that are being provided to customers. On certain pages, you will see there is an opportunity for customer to see through Facebook videos, or there is an opportunity for customer to download an industry report, or there is an opportunity for customers to see a video on scope of digital marketing, which was being recorded based on previous webinar. So there are a lot of things, lot of content, at least 8, 10 different types of content, different strategies that is being implemented on the website to aggregate audiences at an exhaustive level. And so in the initial time, what used to happen was like initial 2 3 years of when Kapil and Pradeep started Digital Vidya, they were not focusing on integrated inbound marketing strategy. By now, you must have understood like content marketing, email marketing, web analytics, tracking of customers are all all plays a greater part in inbound marketing. So, in part and pieces, obviously, every business is working on these, but it's all about creating an integrated strategy to maximize to maximize the output. So they were not utilizing they were not using an integrated strategy. Now, after 2 years of starting it up, once they got aware about integrated uh, marketing strategy using inbound, they implemented it and they saw a huge upside altogether. Right now, in terms of the aggregated audiences, in terms of the alumni, in terms of people whom they have aggregated in the last 5 6 years, they have a huge base of audience. Now, any event they want to conduct, any conference they want to conduct, or any new course they are doing, any webinar that they're doing, particularly in Indian market, like they have lot of audiences for each one of those. So building up audiences is a greater task for any business. First, you need to select a distribution channel, then select a distribution tool, and now depending on what your website is, what could be incentive for customer to provide you with their email address. You need to create these kind of strategy to aggregate audiences for that particular channel. Now, in case of Digital Vidya, it's the email that we really work with. So, while building up audiences, let's say on email, you need to ask customers for their email address. One of the majorly used strategy to aggregate audiences, writing high quality content, and that's where like HubSpot really invests their time on, time, effort, and money on. That's where Kismetrics have built up. You will see a lot of businesses from Conversion Excel to Unbounce. All these digital products uh, have banked upon writing high quality content, banked upon making people sign up for the newsletters to aggregate more and more people. Now, in case of Digital Vidya, we experiment with different varieties of content, different incentives for different sets of users, from webinar to free orientation session to downloading curriculum to case studies to videos to guides to webinars. So these are few of the ways to aggregate, to build up audiences. So once you select the distribution channel and tool, you need to decide on how to build up audiences. Now, you in the initial time when you're setting the business up, you need to set up the whole process. For that, you could take like in the initial stages, you could add your current customers, lead prospects. You could utilize personal network, or you could leverage business associates for the initial time to get audiences. Now, over a period of time, it needs to be your own website audiences to nurture. Only then it will make sense for you to really work ahead with this strategy. Now, once you have built up audiences, once you have decided on how to build up audiences for your business, you need to set up content machinery. Now, what are the things that you need to take care of while setting up content machinery? So first, you need to choose the content type that you want to build up. Obviously, now you have built up audiences. Now, how to engage those audience? So you need to select a content type. So what are the different types of content that you could leverage? Webinars, industry reports, guides, blogs, survey of existing customers, opinion of experts. You could have videos, you could have like infographics. So all these things could be done. All these content types could be built up depending on how much time, effort, and money you could put in. So depending on how much time, effort, and money you can put in, you need to decide which content types you want to move ahead with. Obviously, building up an industry report involves a lot of money, time, and effort as compared to blog. Or building up guides could be could contain lesser effort or lesser time needs to be put in that as compared to conducting a webinar. So depending on how much time, effort, and money you could put in, you need to choose the content types among all available content that your customer could engage with. Is this point clear, guys? Now, once you choose the content type, you need to decide the content buckets. Now, basically, it could be based on what we have discussed in different stages of the funnel that we have discussed in the part one of the session. First, you need to make customer aware about the opportunity that they have of using your solution. Then you need to make them aware about your solution, what exactly your solution is, how exactly it solves the uh, problem for you. Then once customer is aware about the opportunity, if they are aware about your solution, they will evaluate it against your competitors. So you need to build up trust for your brand. And then how you will be able to convert off users by creating sense of urgency for purchase. So you need to decide content buckets and schedule. So one of the easiest way to do it is, let's say, in case of Digital Vidya itself, first you need to think through what are the questions that you want to address in the content. Let me show you an example, guys. Let me just see through if there is example that I could provide. Okay, so let's go through this Excel sheet. Okay, now in case of digital Vidya, let's say we have selected our distribution channel, then tool, then we have decided how to build up audiences as well. Now, in terms of nurturing, what we are doing is the moment customer aggregates with digital Vidya, we start we start sending them emails based on what they have done on the website. And endpoint is the goal of the overall engagement, overall audience aggregation is to convert users off to make them sign up for the course. Okay. Now, then you create list of questions that you want to address. What could be the questions that could be there in customers' mind? Questions like, what is the scope of digital marketing? How is the scenario of jobs in the digital marketing industry? How this course could help in advancement in career? Is this course for fresher? What is the quality of the course? What is the quality of trainers? Why just online classes? Why not offline? Will there be job assistance? Uh, like a lot of questions around like why just why a 6 months course? Why not a shorter for 1 month course? Why to learn all aspects of digital marketing? Why not just learn two or three to build career in that? How much time will it require? What are the mode of payment? Why just digital Vidya? Why not other competitors? What is the like how much how many like what is the industry recognition of certificate provided by digital Vidya? How many hours per week do I need to invest? Are there any tools that are provided like are there any free tools that will be provided by digital Vidya? Is there after course support that is being provided? And various other questions. So you could create hundreds of questions that could be there in customers' mind. And that would have been in your mind before you signed up for digital marketing course at Digital Vidya. So once you create list of questions, how you decide content buckets is either you could go ahead with these buckets, which is at a broader level, or what you could do is you could create. What you need to do is you need to just a minute, guys. Sorry, yeah. Or you what you could do is you just need to club these questions which you want to address together. Let's say you will address the question number one and two together through a webinar. So this is one basket. You will address these five questions. You will address these five questions together. This is another basket. You will address these four questions together. This is another basket. So you create content baskets. So you need to create content baskets, content buckets, depending on the affinity of questions that you could address together. Is this point clear, guys? So for certain businesses, you will be able to see through the funnel. Now, let's say you're not able to see through the funnel, like how to go ahead with it in those cases. All you can do is you create list of questions that your customers may have, and then create baskets of questions which are similar to each other, which could be addressed together. So that for the content types that you have selected, you're able to see which content baskets you want to build a particular webinar on. For which content baskets do you want to address them through video? Which content basket do you want to address through blogs? Which content baskets you want to build a industry report on or a case study on? So in that way, you will be able to set up content machinery in a much more effective way. Now, once you have decided on the content type, decided on the content buckets, now you need to set up content creation process. You could do it in-house, you could outsource it, outsource the content. There are a lot of content agency that are there. There are a lot of freelancers that work on it, or you could hire someone to build this up. But the whole thing is the most important part is maintaining the content pipeline is the most crucial aspect. Content should not break down in between. There needs to be a series that you decide and you need to stick to it. And sustaining the whole overall process for a longer duration. The only limitation which becomes strength over a period of time, because as you move forward in the longer run, you get much more ROI altogether from the whole process. But in the initial stages, it's a slow process of it builds up slowly, but over a period of time, it gives you huge ROI. So sustaining it over long run is the most crucial aspect. So maintain the content pipeline, sustain it over long run. You could create content in-house or outsource, but you need to take care of these two aspects. Is the step number 4 clear, guys, on how to set up content machinery? Let me know if you have any questions or doubts. Okay. Now, once you have set up the content machinery, you need to plan your customer journey. Uh, Now, what ways? There's some issue with the slide, guys. So let me read through. So, in what ways can you plan the customer journey, or why it is required? Because it is required because you need to think through at what stage customer will require what type of content. So you need to determine your customer's life cycle. You need to model your customer journey according to it, uh, and plan your actions along the customer journey. So one of the easiest way to do that is put yourself in customer shoes and think through what are the stages that customer will go through, what are the actions that customer could take. Now, depending on that, you will be able to create customer journey and will be able to create the content plan. So you have already content in place where you have created the step number 4, what type of content you will be building up on what topic, what will the content baskets and all. Now, by planning your customer journey, you will be able to see what are the stages that customer will go through, what are the steps that are possible in customer journey, and at what stage, what call to action do you want to provide, or what type of content do you want to provide. Now, giving you a simple example, this is the typical case, a typical customer journey for newsletter that has been sent by Conversion Excel. Okay. Now, in the newsletter email they send, there is a lead generation call to action and there is a content link call to action. So they decided to leverage the newsletter emails for both purposes, to get readership for the content that they are building up as well as to generate leads from the aggregated audiences. So there is a content link call to action. Customer could click on it to read the full blog post, or there is a lead generation call to action which customer could click on to convert into a lead. Now, if customer comes to the blog page, there is a lead generation call to action again, which customer could click on and convert into a lead from there. Now, so basically, customer could directly convert into a lead from the newsletter itself, or customer could come onto the content page and then on the lead generation and or read through the content page, and there is another option for customer to convert into a lead from there itself. So once you which stage customer is in, you could decide to provide multiple options to them and see like what are the next steps that you want to provide to them. Now it becomes much more clear with this example. This is the example of Digital Vidya's webinar invitation email. So we banked a lot more on webinars altogether to convert off people and then to create much more interest and then aggregate customers as well. So webinar invitation email contains two call to action. There is a webinar registration call to action, which brings you to the webinar page where you could sign up for the webinar. In the email, in the second half of the email, there is a lead generation call to action as well. So by that time of receiving webinar invitation email, if customer is already convinced of signing up for the course, customer have an opportunity in the webinar invitation email itself by clicking on this lead generation call to action to convert into a lead directly. Now on the webinar page, there is a lot of information provided around webinar timing, schedule, as well as various other things, profile of the speaker that will be coming up and all. Uh, People could sign up on the webinar, or there is a lead generation call to action again provided for converting customers into lead. In the confirmation email as well, those customers who haven't converted into lead till now are provided with the option to convert into a lead. Again, in the reminder email, there is a lead generation call to action, and during the webinar, there is a lead generation call to action that is being provided. So you need to model your customer journey. You need to think through what are the options, at which stage will you provide to customers, depending on which stage they were in. Is the step number 5 clear, guys? Let me know if you have any questions or doubts. Is this step clear, guys? Okay. Now, coming to the step number six, segmenting and targeting customers. Now, in case of Digitaldia's webinar strategy, what we do is we customize the invitation email for Digitaldia subscribers, leads, and alumni. For each one of these three segments, we customize it. Then we customize it for free subscribers, and for various email partners, we provide them with a customized email. So we have a lot of email partners through which we send emails. For each one of those segments, we customize the webinar invitation email. Now, post some webinar summary or video email is sent in a very customized way to those who attended the webinar, those who registered but did not attend, old prospects and customers, online course leads, and all other users. So basically, depending on which segment you are in, you will have a very customized post webinar summary email. Now, what are the possibilities in terms of customization? So we could do geography based targeting. So let's say there's a conference that we are conducting in Delhi NCR. So we could target customers or digital marketers who are in Delhi NCR itself, who have a business presence here. Or it could be interest based targeting. So you are interested, you read a lot of content on social media marketing. So if there's a webinar that we are conducting on social media, like we will be able to convert you off, maybe we'll be able to convince you off. Or if there is a free orientation session which involves on social media marketing module, which is discussing social media marketing, we could send you an invitation. So interest based targeting could be there, or maybe event based targeting. So based on what action customer is doing. Okay. So based on if a customer have seen through two videos, three videos, if they have engaged a lot on your content, um, we could provide them with the incentive to sign up for the course. Or if a customer is going to reading through the lot of blog posts, you understand that a video could on those particular topic where customer were engaging on the content could be one part. So depending on what action customer is doing, you could generate a lot of insights and target customers accordingly. So one of the example that I could give you is, let's say in case of Make My Trip or Yatra.com or GoIBO guys, if you are logged in into their platform, that's their way of aggregating audiences. If you're logged into their platform, if you've signed up on their platform, and if you're searching for flights, let's say between Delhi and Bangalore, okay. Now, even if you don't do any further action, if you just search for the flight, and if you dropped off after that, within 5 minutes you receive an email mentioning that you were doing this particular search on this sector. This is the best price point. Price increase every day by this much. So please try to book it at this price, guys. Uh, did you ever receive this kind of an email from any of these players? So basically, based on what action you're doing, like from OYO rooms, again, there is a marketing automation that is being done. Based on what action you're doing on the website, there is a series of email that comes up. So basically, in case of e-commerce websites, you have all the OTA players, any digital business. Like when you sign up for the free trial of LinkedIn, they send you a series of email within those 30 days to make you understand about different usability of the LinkedIn premium version, or maybe of Netflix or Amazon Prime. When you sign up for their free trial, you get a series of email which makes you understand how best you can leverage these platforms. They gives you insight into what's new song or what new movie is being launched on the platform. What are the features that you could utilize? And they send you emails as a reminder, as a way to make you more aware about the platform. So event-based targeting is prominently used across across businesses. Is this point clear, guys? So how you can target and segment customers, like segment and target customers with the relevant content. Is the step number 6 clear? Okay. So basically, in summary, in terms of when you want to aggregate audiences, these are the 6 steps you go through. You need to select a distribution channel, then select a distribution tool, build up audiences for the channel that you have selected, set up content machinery depending on what type of content your customer could engage with, and how much time, effort, and money you could put in. You choose the content type, decide the content buckets depending on what could be the question that could be there in your customer's mind that you want to address. So you create content buckets, and then decide on the content schedule by seeing through, like, you need to see through, like, how you will create content, at what frequency will you create it, all into a certain is that the content pipeline is sustained over long term. You're maintaining content pipeline and then you're sustaining it over long term. Then you need to model your customer journey, put yourself in customer shoes, see through what are the possible action that customer could go through, and at what stage customer will expect what type of content, or at what stage what type of questions could come up in customer's mind. And based on that you need to create based on that you will be able to send the relevant content. And that's what we do in step number 6. So depending on various action that customer is doing, depending on events, interest, or geography, you could customize the email that you're sending to customers, customize the information that you're sending to customers. So guys, we're through today's session. Let me know if you have any questions or doubts on any part of today's session, from what is audience aggregation to why do we need to do it and how to aggregate audiences.